YouTube, Lenny Sly, robowarriortraining.com. How you guys doing today? Today we're going to be doing something a little bit out of the norm. We're going to do some boken training. We do a lot of things differently than most people do. I say that in a lot of videos that we do a lot of things differently than what most people do. We incorporate some training drills with the boken practice. We do more of like a Kenjutsu style sword practice rather than an Aikiken or an Aikibokken type of practice. I have Bob Kamka here with me today to demonstrate this technique. We're going to show you guys how we do the Ukenagaeshi drill, applying it to a Shomanuchi attack. Okay, this drill is, for all intents and purposes, you learning how to maneuver this the boken by doing Ukenagaeshi the proper way, how to be able to maneuver your body, shift from side to side, but staying in front of your partner. Okay, I really haven't seen anything like this done on YouTube, and after Bob and I were talking, and I was also talking with Dana and stuff like that, we decided, why don't we do a video on this? Because I really haven't seen anything, Bob hasn't seen anything, you know, one of my other students, Rod, hasn't seen anything on YouTube for it, so we just figured that we'd share this with you guys. So with that being said, we'll get started. We're going to obviously highlight some of the technique and proper ways and how to turn your wrist to be able to get the boken to turn over. We're going to talk about how to not hit blade versus blade. This is the type of boken that we use. Okay, as you can see, this has a saya. It's a plastic saya. We also incorporate a tsuba. We also tape the handle. Most bokens, the suka, which is the handle, is about 9.5 to 10 inches long. That's roughly about there. Okay, Kenjutsu, the suka pretty much goes down to your elbow. I don't know if you guys know the reason why for that. The suka it's utilized for being able to wield the sword in ways to get leverage to cut. When Aikido people practice boken training, okay, it's always this soft type of grip and small handle. It's don't get me wrong, I love watching some of that stuff. Some of you hardcore Aikido guys, you Aikikai guys, you Iwama guys and stuff like that, the practice I think can be amped up a little bit more to where it's more of a semi-realistic or more of a realistic approach to it. You know, this blending and being able to do this type of stuff, you know, when someone's attacking, that's, you know, I get it, it's the whole, you know, the ki nagare or masubi, whatever you want to call it, blending with your attacker. You know, if you have somebody that's attacking you, it's on its attack, some of these principles and techniques that you guys use might not be as effective as you think. So we practice this a little bit more seriously when we do a lot of boken work, sword practice, kumitachi, the paired practice, katas. We try to emulate it as if it was a real life sword battle, not a movie or a Hollywood style sword battle, because that's all fictionalized. It's not really practical. Okay. Now granted, we're not going to be running around on the streets, policing the streets with swords. This is for, you know, practice pretty much and keeping up with the tradition of the samurai arts and whatnot in Kenjutsu. Okay. This is my interpretation. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you gain some knowledge from it, because that's the goal. That's the goal with all of my videos, is to spread my knowledge and what I know to all of you that want it. And I hope you guys get something good from this. Okay? So, there's a lot of ways of holding the sword and, you know, proper etiquette. You know, we'll do that in another video. We're just going to show you basically the drill with this. So, as Bob stands in front of me, we're almost like in a horse stance, like a karate horse stance, but not exactly bending your knees, but it's more than shoulder width apart. Okay, one person initiates the movement. So we're going to show you the basic skills first. Okay, so from here you are going to raise up. Okay, a lot of people do this helicopter type of thing when they're cutting, especially the Yokomanuchi and stuff. You want to raise up, and then from here, you're maneuvering the sword not with your right hand, but your left hand. Your left hand is what levers the sword. It's not this. It's not this. The hand is right above in front of your forehead, and as you come down, you're not doing this. You're actually pulling with the left hand and extending with the right, but not extending. You're making this quick cut. Safety. You want to have proper distance from your partner. If you're here and doing this, someone's getting hit. When you start to amp up the practice, you start going faster, that's when the potential for injury increases by 1,000. Okay? We used to train without subas. Bob and I can do this without subas, and we can do this really fast without subas. Reason why we started incorporating this: A, to have a more realistic approach of an actual katana. B, the safety factor, because typical injuries with boken practices, people get hit in the fingers. And if you haven't experienced that yet, when you do, you'll know what I'm talking about. It really messes up the rest of your week, because that soreness and pain that you have if you didn't get a broken finger is going to last for days on end. It's not a comfortable feeling. So as we're demonstrating this, and I come down with this cut and Bob comes up with Ukenagaeshi, we're going to go through this and I'm going to stop you as we go. From here, what I don't want you to do is straighten the blade. Blade up, blade up. What I don't want you to do, raise up, is I don't want you to go blade on blade. See that? This is the blade. This is the blade. You don't want to go blade on blade. Reason being, let's just say you got a $10,000 katana, he has a $10,000 katana, and you come and do this blade on blade, you just pretty much ruined your whole entire katana. Okay? There's a method behind this which I don't think a lot of people emphasize, is that when you come down with the shomen strike, you roll the katana to where the blade is now facing behind the person that's actually doing the Ukenagaeshi movement. You're hitting the side of the blade, or you're hitting basically where the kasana, which is the backbone of the sword, aka the mune, okay? You're hitting the kasana. When you're doing this too, you don't drop your tip all the way down to the ground. Drop your tip. It's not this. Okay? You're almost curling that up, and as this happens, Bob is going to continue this energy of flow behind him to where he can transition to the shomenuchi cut and reciprocate to where now he's cutting me. Okay? Now look where I stopped with the boken. You don't want to stop there. Because a lot of people, when you transition in Ukenagaeshi, this happens a lot. Okay? You don't want to do that. Because then when he comes down, you're raising this up and now you're hitting fingers and then you possibly get hit. Control the boken with your suka. Also, one more time, when you cut, follow through with the cut. You also have to have proper timing. Once he starts cutting, you don't want to do this to do Ukenagaeshi. The goal is to use, once you finish cutting, like one more time, finish cutting, move the suka. Push the suka to the outside or push the suka to the inside to receive the Ukenagaeshi. At the same time, you have to shift your body. He follows through, he turns, I come back to center, I cut down, follow through, he comes back to center, I shift, Ukenagaeshi movement, come back to center, I cut, same thing, boom, I keep moving, he keeps moving, I keep moving, he keeps moving, shift, center, cut, shift, center, cut, shift, center, cut, okay? Now as this is happening, you're not doing this, go ahead, you're not doing this and then moving here. You have to move, once he starts coming down, he comes back to center, that's when you want to be able to move. You don't want to move sooner, reverse, reverse. You don't want to move there, go ahead, as he's coming down to where this is here. You don't want to shift before he cuts. You want to shift as he's coming down, you're raising up your boken. Then come back to center, then follow through and cut. Shift, cut, shift, cut, shift, cut. You want to bend your knees. Stay focused as you do this. So I can do this one-handed. but it's just to show you how that can be done. See how we have this rhythm going? Whole time. You're raising up, matching the boken. Raising up, raising up, raising up, shifting, rolling the boken. Okay? This takes a beating out of you. Okay? This is hard to do. You start getting boken shoulders, as we call it. Your shoulders start getting sore, your neck starts getting tight. The stress level when you start going fast is trying to keep the paired practice together at the same time, doing the technique the proper way. You know, rolling your boken over to make sure you're getting, so the boken is being hit on the side, to recovering it to where you're in center, to come down with the showman cut and follow through. On top of that, the stress gets amplified a little bit for the sake of you have to worry about getting your fingers hit. Okay? I'm no stranger to that. Bob's no stranger to that. It happens in practice. The thing with Bob and I is when we start doing a lot of Kenjutsu practice, we start doing a lot of boken drills and whatnot, I'm man enough to say this, we get out of hand. I mean, we start going buck wild with some of the stuff. If you saw the second B-roll in the beginning of this video, that was extremely fast. Okay? It's really hard to match your opponent's attack. On top of it, moving. It's very difficult to be able to keep that connection with somebody that's wielding a boken, a Japanese white oak boken that could break your finger in a second. If you make one false move with an Ukenagaeshi or a Tsuryage movement, when you're trying to deflect his sword attack, you make that mistake, your finger's gonna get busted. If you translate that to actual Kenjutsu training, you know, if you actually had a live sword duel, which I seriously doubt that will ever happen, but if that was to happen, okay, let's just play the what if game, right? The yeah but what if game. You miss that deflection and that blade comes down on top of your fingers are gone. Okay? You're gonna get your fingers cut off. So we try to emulate that practice. We know that it's not real world practice, but the one thing with weapons training is that it completely enhances your open hand training. Okay? With the way how we practice with the TenShin Aikido and stuff, and the way how we do boken practice, Kenjutsu practice, and we carry over the principles of TenShin Aikido to this style of practice. You know, we're not projecting out sword cuts. Our sword cuts are a lot shorter, they're more direct, they're more powerful, there's more intent behind the attack. You can see that within our open hand training, with our sword training as well, with our weapons training. Some people don't have that. You know, the Joe and the boken, you're supposed to be able to see that weapons training within your open hands training, and vice versa. There's a lot of people who can do it from the Aikido standpoint, but you know, on a more practical level, it's a practice that takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of work to be able to do it. It's not an easy thing to do. Okay, so again, we'll try this one more time. Hey, I'm going to add in Tsuryage just so you can see that. So we're going to show you a basic demonstration of Tsuryage really quick. So from the ski standpoint, you ski. So from here, as he skis, this Tsuryage movement, okay, this deflection, you can't do this going forward because the tip of the sword is coming towards you. You can do it stand still and do that. But my recommendation is if someone's going to ski, they're reaching out to touch you with this thing. Okay, that's longer than my hands. I can't deflect that with my hand, and I definitely am not going to want to deflect that here and get overwhelmed. Okay? I'm going to want to shift back to that point, to where then I attack Bob, and Bob Tsuryage, then Bob does Tsuryage and moves back. Okay? Then from there, Bob can cut again. Now he cuts from a showman cut, Ukenagaeshi. Now we're moving into the drill. Okay? Lighter on your jet. So once that happens, see how he turns that over? I follow through. He comes back, I'm going to want to move. I come back, he moves. And you just keep moving through this. Remember, you have to utilize the suka to be able to get the Ukenagaeshi movement. If you start doing this, it's too close. You're going to sit, bring your hand down, bring your hand. You're going to wind up going right across his knuckles on his hand. Right there. If you start coming up to do Ukenagaeshi, raise your hand up please. You start coming up, boom, 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 boom. You clip all the fingers. This is the one point that I can't stress enough with this Ukenagaeshi practice, is that you have to, this is essential, that you move the boken with the suka. Please, if anything, at least take this away from this training, showman. Don't do this to do your Ukenagaeshi. Okay? Move the suka out of the way. Right? So then when I come down and I cut him, here, I don't want to be doing that. Right? I don't want to be doing that. That's not what I want to do. See, I'm deliberately shifting this. I'm making sure that this stays out of the way. The other thing that I didn't point out is that you want to attack where your partner was, not is. Okay? You don't want to track with this, so you don't want to do this. Hey, here. It's not what you want to do. This is a drill. The purpose behind the drill is to learn to execute the Ukenagaeshi, recover into a Shomanuchi attack, learn to execute the Ukenagaeshi movement to recover into a Shomanuchi attack, and be able to bend your knees at the same time. The idea is to actually have your knees stay bent the whole time, and you're just shifting back and forth. This is the whole idea behind this, is being able to shift back and forth. The more your knees are bent, the more mobile you're going to be, especially when you have a weapon in your hand and the training starts to escalate and goes extremely fast. So one more time. So, right from the beginning. So, hey, nagashi. So there you have it. That is the Ukenagaeshi drill, from a Shomanuchi attack to an Ukenagaeshi, shifting from side to side. Remember, roll this over. It's not commonly done, at least from what I've seen, but rolling this over. The best way I can describe this for some of you guys, then you guys work out with weights, think of this as a barbell curl. Even though this isn't the proper way how you do a barbell curl, but you want to be able to roll your wrists over. Roll this over. The other thing, sorry, I forgot to point this out, is that when you're doing Ukenagaeshi, stay within the circle of your arms. If you look this way, you're putting your head underneath the blade of the attacker. Do it to the point where you're not under the blade. So when you shift, height, on an angle real quick. So you come down slow, height. If you do this, and that power comes through, you're taking a boken shot to your forehead. You need to move everything. So I tend to lean my head to make sure that I'm out of the line of the attack. Then recover, come back down. Okay, now when I go the other way, it's harder when you cross over. Right? When you cross over, a lot of people do this and they're looking here. Right, one more time. You want to open this up. The key thing is letting the sword go past you. If you're just raising up to block, follow through. Okay? Follow through, all the way down. Okay? You're stopping the movement. You want the movement to deflect off the sword, to come back down, to attack. Right? See how it comes up? Boom. I bring it behind me. One more time. I bring this behind me. I absorb the attack. Bring this behind me. Absorb the attack. Bring this behind me. Absorb the attack. You gotta be able to stay relaxed. That's the other problem. A lot of people don't stay relaxed. Don't have the iron death grip on the sword. Okay? So that's it. Lenny Sly, worldwarriortraining.com. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up, share it, subscribe to our channel, go to our website, check out our online classes. If anyone's interested in this type of boken, we are launching a brand new website on February 1st. Dana will be doing a video on social media, and more likely the video will end up here on YouTube. You can check that out. Go to the new website, check out the online classes. Go from there. We're going to have a store where we're still kind of messing around with the idea of offering this type of boken. So anybody that's interested, leave a comment down below, and if we get enough people that want it, we'll make them. So I'm Lenny Sly. You've been watching the World Warrior Channel. Thanks for watching. Have a great week.